Hello, everyone. I want to talk to you about a subject that is very on the minds, very much on the minds of the human population, especially here in America. And so it is, excuse me, by the way, welcome to Judah Rain's channel. And if you like what you hear or find some insight or uplift from what you hear, then please give a like and a share. And please do subscribe so that it will help this channel grow as it need be. It's ultimately up to the Most High God of who hear this message, whether or not the algorithm logs it in. So I want to speak on the Legos that has been Lego scenario on YouTube and other platforms. They're little shorts that Israel is releasing out to the world, which has been poignant as far as really stating things as they are, not as we would have them to be. And because there has been so much truth telling recently in the Americas, especially United States of America, we are now, we have been, I want to say primed, but that's not the best word. I would say that we have been made ready, or what they would call we have been made wet to receive the application of truth, whether we like it or not. And so one particular one that I had wanted to see again, that I had seen last week and I could not find it, was the one where they were talking about it was the Legos were about Black folks here in the Americas, and actually telling the truth that they're the original people here in North and South America. And I finally found it on, it's called it came across my feed, and it's called New Babylon, and it is of course hip hop, and it's basically the chorus is, I woke up, I was born in New Babylon. And this is such a simple but poignant truth, a very heavy truth about the descendants of American slaves. It is the core and the crux of everything that has happened to us, that has been bred out into this reality, that is the crux of justice and reparations. It is the bottom rung of why Armageddon has to take place, because we were born into this system. We did not create it, and we did not sin against the Most High or create any type of rebuff against the Most High in order for the creator of the universe to strike us in such a way. We are the innocent of the innocent persons. And I am going to say victims. I'm going to wear that because that's the truth. And so many people have made us feel ashamed to say that, all the while denying the remedies of the wound and the subsequent disease that has been festering from it. And that is from the transatlantic slave trade, that is from the inception of demonic rule and satanic rule, and of course in this last world that Satan had reigns over, was through, of course, white supremacy of a small group of populated people, the smallest on planet Earth, being able to rule by cultivating a very horrific lie. And of course, that lie was made to be believed by all because Satan and the demons were the undergirding of making sure that that lie proved to be what it said it was that white people were supreme over all the earth. And they were given the worlds, not the planet, even though they attacked everything, including the planet, in order to maintain that power, to keep it going. But the only reason why they were able to be successful at it was because they had a supernatural force aiding them, behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. And what I mean by that, they had a force that was a real force, a real being, supernatural according to our standards, right? And I should say actually beings that were interacting not with all of them, but with a select group of them. And this is key because the apex of power always will funnel to the top. And that top part is going to be a small group, okay? All the way possibly until one or two that will be in agreement or in one accord to disseminate the power throughout the rest or the whole of the human family. And so for us, what was funneled was death, destruction, hatred, and evil doing. Okay, and this is what we have suffered. And I believe that the new Babylon video of the Legos articulated some truths about basically our true identity and who we are in our history being shut away from us. And this was really the central ether of the control of Satan, is to rip the children away from those ancient ones who held the keys of power and who had to either lay down the keys or those keys were removed from them. We will find out the true story as things continue to unfold in our present day in year 2026. But the Lagos was wonderfully done, and it was masterfully done, and there was just a lot of clearing up. Personally, I believe just from feeling the aura or the spirit behind it, I'm sure, I'm sure that they have employed Black people, um, and 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 I think we're probably going to be really surprised whose shoulders they actually tapped in order to bring out some of the information. They were talking about the Olmecs. They were talking about the Grand Canyon and how that those were ancient cities. And then it also begs to see who they were listening to here on these internet streets, and and the mediums that they were getting this information from, that they pulled from, because all the way in Iran, I doubt that they would know some of the intricacies that some grid lines, as I would like to say, that have been laid in that Legos presentation about the truth of the true people of Israel. That's basically what they're saying. They're saying that, hey, we know who those people are. And they ain't the people that we're fighting right now. They ain't nowhere near. As a matter of fact, it by illuminating who we are, which are God's chosen people, we know that those that claim to be us are the synagogue of Satan. And that's something that I believe that they were indirectly making that claim. And so it appears to me that they've had to have had someone or a group of people that either they were working in conjunction with or they were getting the information on. I will say this with Iran, and because it's not the only one, there have been many things that they have just been putting up into as a mirror for the American people that they've been watching. I maintain that they have been watching, they have been searching, they have been receiving, they have been accepting. They have been accepting information that the world, in service to the Europeans, in service and keeping in their good graces, and I'm talking about all the worlds, all the other countries, have been willing to deny. I must give that to Iran. It seems, just on the face of presenting this with toys, which is very interesting, because it says in the Bible that in order for us, because of everything that has been done to us, in order for us to accept truth, we must become like babies, or we must become like children. And when what that really means, and this is what was explained to me by an anointed person, is that when you look at children, and this anointed person was a mother of 7 kids, but when you look at children, uh, when you tell them something, they just believe you. They don't question it. They don't say that's not true or no. They accept it. That's why one of the things that people would do back in the day before they here in the United States made schools where you had to put your children in school with those who are enemies, or otherwise they would, you would be punished up into the point where you could possibly be sent to jail. They wouldn't even allow Black folks to homeschool their children anymore, which they were. And what they were doing, they were passing on a lot knowledge at that time of who we really were. But they did so much breaking up 100 years ago, even 200 years ago, 300 years ago, that even to teach our children to pass that on was forbidden, because children's brains are wet, they're ready for information, and because they don't have any life experience, they readily accept what you give them. And so I can see the metaphor of using Legos. If you become like children, you won't receive the kingdom. You won't be willing to receive the truth. And as an adult, that's harder than it appeared, than the saying appears. It is hard to become like children because you have all these experiences that do come in the way. But if you set your mind to believe the impossible, or to believe the thing that as an adult might make you uncomfortable, but you still open to believing it, then something wonderful can possibly grow. And that is where the Most High can get a hold of you. So I just wanna come and say that there seems to be a willingness upon the part of of Iran to have accepted things as they were, whether you like them or not, whether whatever part they are playing future in the kingdom. I'm not really going into that right now, but it seems like they are making an impact, and quite frankly, the Most High could be using them to hold up that mirror in a way that we are just not able to hold it. We have been unsuccessful in holding it up to the American people. And also, too, let's not forget that the Epstein files was a braking mechanism for all of the people that have been service to the Europeans and have bowed down to white supremacy and did not fight it, but went along with it even till this moment. They have had to face a very, very dark mirror about what it really is and how it affected them personally, and how it has really betrayed them and manipulated them, you see. And so that breaking process has allowed them to be able to receive this information that Iran is giving it. Sometimes, some people can hear the truth from another person versus hearing it from, someone else, depending on the person. We're all built that way. We can take some truths from one person where we can't take it from another. And so maybe in this way, when as the American people are seeing it, they're having to deal with it. And you can kind of feel it in the air that whether they like it or not, they're kind of resigned to, yeah, this is what has been going on. Do I think that they're going to make a change for the better? No, I think we're headed down the road that we're on, and there's no stopping it. But at least we're seeing the unfolding of truth, and that it is starting to rain. And rain eventually is going to be a mighty stream. So I do give props to Iran. Again, I believe that they may have used or are using probably some of our black folk out there that probably did not get a lot of attention saying it themselves. It would not surprise me if they were receiving that. And another thing too, because they are doing this, and I'm talking about Iran, because they are setting this out, I don't believe, there may be some propaganda, maybe not. Not everything's propaganda. Some things are just as they are. And so the way that they're tailoring this and the way that it's affecting black folk, descendants of American slaves, do you realize that it will cause a spirit, our collective spirits to enforce what they're doing? I want you to think about that, because the spirit has been withdrawn. Our spirit as a collective people, as a true chosen children of Israel, has been withdrawn from America. We are no longer feeding America and feeding into America, which is why everything is going down here for them. But perhaps maybe Iran and has decided that, hey, we can see that these people, if they start blessing us, we'll be blessed, right? If they start doing that. So how can we do that? How can we gain not all, but maybe even some of their spirit? How that can help us. And it could be because, understand, they start putting these Legos out Lego communications out almost immediately. almost immediately. And of course, that's resonating with us because it's the truth. A lot of what they were saying was the truth. You can't deny that. Whether or not you like them or not doesn't matter. Or are they telling the truth? You see, and so and they're not doing it in a way to even entrap us and tell us to even serve them or to come over there and fight for them. They're not even saying that to us, at least from the cachet that I've seen, and I've seen quite a few of them. I'm sure there's one or two that I haven't seen, but they're kind of letting them out constantly. So it just looking at this with a third eye, I can see where they're now harvesting some of our spirit by the very fact that we are sending just through the word of our mouth, that we are giving them their props, is empowering them. Do not poo-poo that. Do consider that they are not all of our spirit, obviously, but it may enough, and look how it's playing out for them. Look how that spirit of justice and how even possibly the angels are now given leave, not all but some may be given leave to back them up in Iran. You see, and what we're going to find is that in Christ's kingdom administration, especially when the representatives are in the core government doing what they need to do for the nation, but also too for the rest of the world, as people are going out to these different places throughout the globe of the earth, you're going to be carrying that spirit that is going to, when you walk into a room, it will begin to have a positive effect on a person. And if that person is so depraved, it may cause a reaction that, probably will be jarring to some people, but then to others, it will be a more calming effect or a more a pleasant experience, so to speak. So I think probably because uh, the people of Iran may be a little bit different. Who knows? We got to give them that breadth and that width because they've been isolated so, but they've been watching what has been going on around the world because they have been under the frightful eye of that state in the Middle East and of under the European hegemony. And I'm talking about the whole world of Europe, and not under, of course, a nice way. It's under, we're going to get you. They've been under a threat of possible annihilation. So I think that's got to have some type of effect on you, differently than if you were like in China, or if you were in Mexico, or if you were in some country in South America and you had a president standing up on a podium in front of the American people and saying, you can come in and we will support you. We will give to you what was owed to the slave. We're going to give you their reparations. We're going to give you an unearned justice so that we don't have to keep it from them. But we're hoping that we can just kind of do the sleight of hand and still be drawing off of their spirit. But that's been cut off now. That's been cut off, and it's due to the Most High. It's not because we rolled out of bed and said, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. The Most High had to actually send a freaking spaceship, for lack of a better term, three-eye atlas, hurling through space faster than the speed of light and having it dash into the sun and wrap around the sun and all the planets in order to change the dynamic of a people so that we could withdraw our spirit as a collective without having to announce it. So I just consider that. Just sit back and consider that for one moment. Because if you think that these dots are not connected, you may have another thought coming, right? And so perhaps these people on the other side of the world that we really didn't speak to as a group are talking to us. And it looks like, more than any other culture, that they are bound down in a way that no other culture on this planet, no other world, and I'm talking about a country on this planet has ever done since the transatlantic slave trade. They have all joined in league with the white supremacists to do unthinkable things. to us as well, including enriching themselves off of our blood, sweat, and tears, and not leaving behind a blessing. And the last thing I want to say is perhaps too why Iran is having the success that it is having too is also in the Bible. I want to refer you to an example about that woman that just touched the hem of Jesus when she was thinking in her soul, whatever was going on in her life, you know, she just said, if I can just touch the hem of his cloth, I'll be healed. And of course, when she touched the end part of his cloth, he knew something had happened because the spirit of healing went out to that woman and she became healed. Well, let's just say that it didn't, that the effort on her part was just to reach out. And I would say perhaps that's what we're seeing with Iran. It doesn't mean, like the lady, that she wasn't doing all kinds of wrong. and I can only imagine, but it does mean that she knew what was right. And she knew that, I don't care what anybody else is saying about this particular man. I know that the things that I have seen with my own two eyes, and that this man has something that will help me. And perhaps with this country, the same thing. If I just reach out to them with Legos, perhaps I can siphon off a little bit of that thing that has built worlds and that has kept a people who have taken the full frontal brunt of America and still are living and still are alive. As a people, fragmented as we may be, we are still here. And to that, I pop my collar to them. I'm not going to poo-poo it, because they're talking about the lives of who they are as a people and as individuals in the face of these great powers going after them. And the only other group of people who have had that happen to them and have withstood it through the test of time has been us. And so to them, swing away. Thank you for listening.